What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua has a message for Deontay Wilder. He says, hey, Deontay Wilder, you need to humble yourself. And he said this because, and I know why he said that. And that statement alone, I have to agree with. My whole problem with Deontay Wilder is he needs to humble himself. He doesn't know where he's at. He doesn't know, he can sit there and say, hey, I'm blessed and I'm blessed. And he can take these shit offers that his management has given him for years. How many years? 11 years? 11 years. You've been taking and accepting shit offers for fighting shit opponents. Okay? Now, because of that, you are accustomed to getting a certain amount of money right off the bat. It's automatic. You know what I mean? Like, you go to the gym and you do X, Y, and Z. You do X, Y, and Z for 6 weeks. You can always do X, Y, and Z easily. But if you go there and you do X and Y, right, for 2 months, and then you go back and try to do X, Y, and Z, X, Y, and Z is going to be a lot harder to do because you're not accustomed to that. All right? Well, cross compare that to Deontay Wilder's career. You can make $500,000 a fight, $500,000 a fight, and you get accustomed to that. But if you haven't made $4 or $5 million a fight before, how will you be accustomed to making that type of money when you're not accustomed to getting it? Why would you want that? We call that something. We call that greed. See, one thing, the problem about not being humble, when you're not humble and you don't know where you are, you know what I mean? Like, you don't know where you are realistically in your life, like financial, spiritual, whatever. If you don't know where you truly are, you're subject to do those type of things. Greed can seep in easily because then you're not humble. You got the big head. You know what I'm saying? If you're not humble, you're more than likely the opposite. Like, hey, yeah, I know I'm this. I know I'm that. I know I'm better than that. Since he knows he's better than that, he feels that, hey, I'm better than you. I'm better than you. I'm better than you. So since that's the case, I want more money, or I want more for what I feel that I'm worth. The only problem with that is he hasn't proved that. But one time, that was the highest payday. So if you made your highest payday from that time with Luis Ortiz making $2.5 million, why would you be mad about 12.5? That's about 4 times the amount or 5 times the amount of money that you've ever made in your life. Okay? And let's be real. The 2.5 million is not net. That's gross. Okay? That's not the same. Just like the 4 million isn't. He's not going to take home, hey, baby, I got a check for 2.5. He has to break bread with the people that got him. His promoters, Shelly Finkel, Ludabella, Al Heyman. He has another. I don't even know. He has 4 different guys he has to pay out. He has to pay out his camp, his training camp, and they're partly managing him too. So a lot of people are getting a cut of Deontay's money, and he's not making that much money. You know what I'm saying? He's not making that much. I remember it was a Filipino fighter called the Filipino Flash, Donito Donaire. He was a sensation. He's kind of past his prime now, but he's Filipino, and the Filipinos, they send money back home. That's the tradition. You go over to the States, you make your money, you send that back to take care of your family, right? And they were saying at times they have, financial issues because the norm, sending money back over, and doing that and trying to take care of yourself can be challenging, so with Deontay Wilder, it's no different. You have 7 children. You have 4 managers. You have a beautiful wife. I'm pretty sure, I don't know what she does. That's none of my business. But if she's not helping out with that, that's another deduction from his paycheck. So if he's doing all this himself on the strength of, 2.5 million, and then not even 2.5, might be 1.7 by the time he pays everybody. You know what I mean? He has to budget that money. So to fight someone like Joshua and expect a certain amount of money, you have to be worried about someone else's value and not your own. You haven't made that amount of money. So you had to be looking at what Joshua made and compare your wage to Joshua's wage and come up with something much bigger than what you've ever made, especially bigger than what they've offered you, which is rather retarded, because it's like, okay, you haven't made that amount of money and they offer you a huge amount of money, because $12.5 million should be huge. You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't to him. It was almost disrespectful to him, right? 15. He's all, that was a shit offer too. Well, that's more money than you ever got. And he wasn't really willing to take that risk. And I don't even know if it was because he was scared, maybe because he was cautious, but let's add another scenario to it. Maybe it's because he was not humble enough to take it. Because he wasn't humble, his arrogance cost him that fight. Because if you're arrogant, you're thinking, I'm much more than that. Shit on that, I'm not taking that. You know what I mean? And we don't know how the Tyson Fury negotiations are going to really go. Let's hope they get made. But again, he is still at someone else's mercy. Signing someone else's contract, being the B side of the equation. You know what I'm saying? So it was going to happen anyway. So he still has to, at some point, humble himself if he wants these big fights. If not, okay, people are going to look at you, well, you really lost. His fans are going to, give him support and tell him the things that he wants to hear. Like, man, you knocked that motherfucker out, Deontay. Damn, you knocked that motherfucker out. They'll hear that. He'll hear that. But if you're a person that doubts yourself, he's going to be looking at videos like this, other videos that, videos that question what he can do, question his ability, question how really good is he. And then if he's, again, realistic with himself, he should ask himself, was it me that stopped these negotiations? See, that's the difference between Anthony Joshua. He's like, well, I'm to blame. Maybe I didn't offer him more money. You know what I mean? But I'm not the only one to blame. See, if Deontay Wilder, he's jaded from those negotiations, and the way he talks, he doesn't really want to return back to the negotiation table with Joshua. That's why Joshua's saying, well, hey, bro, you need to humble yourself because, we offered you a deal, more money than you've ever made, and you should have took it. But here's the deal. My problem with Joshua counterpunching him, he's done a few interviews, and he was like, well, maybe it was my fault, like he said. I wouldn't have said that because I don't believe that. If he thought that, hey, why would you say it's your fault when you offered him more money? He knows. He should be confident in his team knowing we offered this guy a good deal. There's no reason for us to say it's our fault. Fuck that. You know what I mean? I wouldn't even be thinking that way. That he might be saying that just for the thing to say or whatever, but he said it nonetheless. And I wouldn't be saying that to the public because other people can take that and twist that around. Anthony Joshua admits he lowballed the offer. Anthony Joshua, he said that he lowballed the offer and he said it was my fault. I think I have to agree with him. That type of shit. You know what I mean? So you don't need that type of press because people use words and twist them around. But that's if Anthony Joshua really gives a shit, honestly. You know what I mean? But I do think Anthony's right from what he said. He does need to humble himself because you have Tyson Fury signed a huge deal. Anthony Joshua gets 25 million pounds a fight. It's hard to compare yourself to them without knowing, hey, I don't make that type of money. But I do know and believe that I can beat these guys. So I need to do whatever I need to do to fight these fucking guys. I'm the American champ, and I need to show the American champ in the whole world that I can beat these two guys. I can put Fury's ass down for good and let him stay down for good, right? I can go there and knock out Anthony Joshua because I believe I'm better than him. That's the mindset that Deontay Wilder needs to have. Until he has that, we really won't know that he's humble. You know what I mean? We won't really know that. And then I think if he doesn't have any sense of humbleness, these fights won't get made at all again. Because he's going to compare himself to the accomplishments and attributes of other people before his own. But anyway, you guys tell me what you think about Anthony Joshua's statements, this video. Of course, please subscribe, guys. And you guys been counterpunched. Peace.